How's it going, guys? Matt here, MTG Ownage. Just want to look at some of these Forgotten Realms spoilers. I know the full thing is coming out soon, so we'll probably do some reviews soon, but I haven't really looked at these a ton, so I just kind of wanted to do it in a live cast format, just flip through, give some thoughts, and we can kind of, I don't know, see what we think. All right, so let's just flip through these. It's probably going to be kind of long, but if you haven't seen all these cards, you can kind of catch up on them, so that's might be a good just thing to chill and watch. Alright, so first we got the Soul Knife Spy. Now this is a big upgrade from the traditionals. Usually when you see this, well, there's like Scroll Thief, cards like that. There's several of them. They seem to print one in every set. This card except a 1/1, so finally they made it a 3/2, which is measurably better. That's +2, +1 on top of all the previous prints of this card. So interesting. Doesn't really matter. Not a particularly good card, but potential card advantage. So interesting. I don't want to spend that much time on every single card though. I just like I haven't seen Teleportation Circle. This is I think a D&D spell. It's like a level 5 or level 6 spell in D&D. I've played a ton of D&D, so I'm probably going to be somewhat familiar with a lot of these names. Enchantment, Instep, exile an artifact, then return it back. Okay, just flickers an artifact or creature. All right, so it's not a huge deal. Could be interesting, but all right, Treasure Vault. I think this is okay. I don't know. It's not that great though. Like most of the time, you just rather sit on a land than sack it and get a few treasures, especially for that much mana. Double X. There is some potential here in X decks, but sacking a land is never what you want to do generally. I don't know. It depends. I don't think this is going to see a ton of play, but it might see a little commander play. I don't know what this talisman does, so let's go to its actual text. 1 black mana for equipment. When it attacks, it gets Death Touch. When it attacks alone, defending player loses 2, you gain 2. Equip 2. Meh. Alright, and then we have these class enchantment cards, which are a little different. Looks like you got to pay to level them up. They start on level 1, I think. Gain a level as a sorcery to add an ability. So once you get to full level, you get everything. I think. The second spell okay, let's look at monks. Second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less. Doesn't matter a whole lot, I don't think. Level 2. Bounce something. Okay. Beginning your upkeep. Level 3, at beginning your upkeep, exile top card. You may cast it as long as you cast another spell. Meh. I mean, you're dumping 7 mana to get to level 3. So it's like 7 mana, potentially cheaper stuff. I don't know. I don't think this is that great. It's okay. It's a rare too. I feel like this should be maybe uncommon. I know it does have bounce on it, but you still have to pay 4 mana to even get the bounce. And then 7 mana to even get the cast from exile. It does have some potential value, but I'm not sure it's that great. Paladin class. Spells your opponent cast during your turn costs 1 more. Okay, that's pretty interesting. It helps stop interaction. You can 3 level it up. Creatures get a little anthem. And then 5 for the last level. That's pretty steep. We're looking at putting 9 mana into this. Whenever you attack, until the end of turn, target attacking creature gets +1/+1 for each other attacking creature and gains double strength. Now that is pretty devastating final there. So I really actually kind of like this. I think it could be a good sideboard card against people who interact with you a lot, because you can drop it for 1 mana really early game and kind of shut off their interaction. And then later, if you don't have anything else to do, you can buff your creatures and then you can try to end the game. I don't know if it's going to see play. It doesn't seem that great. I'm not sure. Do you keep the previous abilities when you level this up? Well, this monk class one, this triggers on the level up. And yeah, I don't know if you keep these levels. Someone will have to let me know. All right. Looks like we got a common ghoul. You can sack a creature to buff it, activate only once each turn. Meh. At least it's a sack outlet, but only once each turn. Alright, here we go. We got a Mythic, the Book of Exalted Deeds. Cool. 3 white mana, legendary artifact, Mythic. Beginning your end step, if you gain 3 more life, you get a 3/3 angel. Okay. I believe that's okay, but I think we have better cards that do that sort of thing. So let's see what this other ability is. Exile, put an light encounter on a target angel. It gains you can't lose the game, your opponents can't win. Alright, that could be some serious shenanigans if you get a super protected angel and then just can't lose. So, interesting card. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Magic Missile. For 3 mana, can't be countered. 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Okay, interesting. I don't know how I feel about Magic Missile being a red spell. I feel like in D&D, Magic Missile is, I don't know, it's an evocation spell, which kind of goes with red maybe, but it's more like a force than it is anything else. Can't be countered. I don't quite understand how this correlates with D&D. Magic Missile can be countered. It can be in D&D. I don't know. It's okay though. It's not great. It's pretty bad overall because it's sorcery. It's really good and limited because you can remove several targets, but in constructed, it's probably not going to see any play. Alright, Galea, Kindler of Hope. This looks like it is a... I can't tell if that's like commander type card. I don't know. We got it's 4/4 vigilance for 4 mana, but it's got some serious color restrictions. You can look at the top card of your library. You can cast aura and equipment from the top. Whenever you cast, it auto equips. Okay. Whenever equipment enters the battlefield in this way. Okay, so if you cast an equipment from the top, it automatically attaches. Huh, that's pretty cool for commander type stuff, I think. Don't think it's super great, but it's cool. It's cool. Alright, Paladin Shield. We got a little common flash. Attach it. It's just auto equip with flash. Not bad. Not good. Not great. Just +0/+2. Alright, Direwolf Prowler. Can pump it once per turn. Not too great. I'm mostly thinking about constructed. I don't play a whole lot of limited these days, but this could be pretty good in limited. I mean, but being able to buff it to a 4/4 is not bad. Mind Flare. Alright, cool. We got some creatures here. Enters the battlefield. Gain control of target creature for as long as you control Mind Flare. A little dominate monster there. I feel like that's okay. I don't know if it's super great. It's clearly not good as like Agent of Treachery or something because they remove the Mind Flare, you lose your value. Agent of Treachery, you keep your value. And this guy is, you can't flicker shenanigan him. If you flicker him, you lose the previous one. So still alright, but not great. I don't think it's that playable. Maybe in sideboards against people who are playing a bunch of big creatures with low removal or something. Alright, Blue Dragon. It's uncommon. 5/5 for 7 with Lightning Breath. When Blue Dragon enters the battlefield, until your next turn, target creature gets -3, -0, -2, -1. Okay, so you just debuff their power a little bit until your next turn. Not super great. Pretty awful value, really. I haven't seen any super cool bomb cards yet, but we got a lot to go. Druid class. Another uncommon. Land, ETB, gain life, who cares? Level 2. So you got to pump 5 mana into this to get to level 2. You can play an additional land each turn. There are, not in standard, but there are old cards that do this for less. So far this is awful. Playing additional land each turn is not good for 5 mana. Especially if you're not even getting a draw or anything off of it. And then the final 5 mana. So you can pump 10 mana into this. To a target land becomes a creature with haste and power and toughness equal to the number of lands. So I mean, this could be kind of cool with landfall decks, but just that you have to pump 10 mana into it and 5 to even get the extra land drop. By the time you pump 5 mana into something, you don't necessarily need extra land drops anymore. So I think this is pretty awful overall. What do we got here? Some kind of vampire. Let's click on him. 5 mana 4/4 with flying and ward, discard a card. Whenever it deals combat damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, I kind of like this guy. It's not super great, but it's flying, it's got ward. It can get big if it's left unchecked. It's alright. It's not super great. It's probably not going to take over a game because most likely people are going to remove it or chump block it. It doesn't have trample. If you give it trample, haste, it might be okay, but still, it's 5 mana. It's got nothing on something like, trying to think of a cheaper 4/4. There's a ton of them. War of the Spark had a bunch of, yeah, whatever. It's not very efficient. That's a big problem. I don't think it's going to see play. It's not close to good as something like the new dragons that are coming out for this mana cost. I don't think, anyway. It's okay, though. Just okay. Silver Raven, 1/1 flying, scry 1. Artifact creature, though. Nothing really super great there, but okay. Desert Doom, another 5/5 dragon. This one actually has a reasonable mana cost. 5/5 for 5 flying. Has ward 4 as long as it's untapped. So pretty hard to hit unless you attack, then it loses its ward. Alright. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And if you have fewer than 3, draw cards equal to the difference. Okay, this guy's pretty good. We're looking at a hand refiller, something that's hard to remove. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Much better in Commander and stuff, but pretty cool. Something like this is clearly a massive bomb in Limited, because just refilling your hand, getting a flyer, having that big ward, yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Alright, split the party. How to end D&D campaigns. Split the party. Alright, choose target player. Return half of the creatures they control to their owner's hand. Round it up. Alright. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Nothing super great, I don't think. Alright. Verondis, Rage of Ancients. This looks like it's another commander card. Dragon Barbarian. Oh, it's a Dragonborn. 5/4 for 5. In the Gruul colors. Whenever it is dealt damage, you may create a 5/4 red-green dragon spirit with, whenever it deals damage, sacrifice it. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, free 5/4s are pretty nice. And it sacks when it deals damage, so at least it's done it's given its value when it gets sacked. Not bad. Whenever you roll one or more dice, you may have Verondis deal 1 damage to itself. Okay, so you could potentially flood with dragons if you got some kind of dice rolling deck. Too bad these little guys don't have haste, but it's not too hard to get haste in these colors, so I don't know. I think he'll see some play. Pretty cool. I like Verondis there. And he does have the dragon type, so we might see him in like Dragon builds. Alright, we get Price of Loyalty. Just your typical gain control of target creature till end of turn. Tap it gains haste. If treasure was used, it gets +2/+0. Alright. Ingenious Smith. A 1/1 for 2 with a wall of text. Uncommon. Alright, what do we got here? ETB, look at your top 4, reveal an artifact, put it in your hand. Okay, this is really good already. Whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter, only triggers once each turn. Yeah, this is a card that's going to see a lot of play. You basically get to select, draw a card, and you're only going to play in an artifact deck, so this is going to be a hit like 90% of the time. So 90% of the time you're going to get that artifact. This thing's going to grow over the game. Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty strong card. Ingenious Smith there, uncommon. Alright, so we've seen a couple strong cards. I feel like this is the first strong uncommon we've seen. Alright, Sorcerer Class. Alright, ETB, draw 2, discard 2. Okay, that's pretty cool. Level it up for another 2. Creatures can tap for mana, only for instant sorcery or to gain class level. Okay, that's alright, I guess. Not great. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery that dealt damage That spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant sorceries you've cast this turn. It's a lot of mana to get there. We're still looking at 9 mana to get the last one, but it could be a game ender in a storm deck for sure, where you're just casting a bunch of spells in one turn. This reminds me of like Aria of Flame, but Aria of Flame is only 3 mana. This is 9, so pretty bad overall. Yeah, I don't know. This initial thing is pretty good if you want to fill your yard. Not entirely sure how I feel about it, but it's okay. I really don't like that these are rares. These have been pretty awful for rares, in my opinion, but maybe there's some good ones. Rogue class. Oh, I just feel like anytime you pull one of these in your rare slot, you're just gonna be like, well, that was a dud pack. You know, it's gonna be that. It's one of those rares, most likely. I could be wrong. All right, rogue class. Let's see what rogue does. All right, ETB or what? It's not ETB. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of their library face down. You may cast. You may look at it. Wait, what? I gotta read this again. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of their library face down. You may look at it for as long as it remains exiled. Just look at it? Can't cast it? Nothing? Just look at it? What? Okay. Creatures you control a menace, and then in the last level you may play the cards exiled with rogue class. Okay. So you still gotta dump 9 mana to even start playing any of those cards. Huh. Yeah. Alright. So the reality of this class, this one is probably the worst so far. So basically you spend 2 mana, you get absolutely nothing. This is a complete waste of an ability until you dump 7 more. You gotta spend 7 more mana for this first part to ever pay off. And in most games it just simply isn't going to happen. Because if you're spending mana, if you spend this mana on turn 2, and then this mana on turn 3, and this mana on turn 4, in any competitive format, you're dead. You've just wasted 3 turns in a row, essentially doing nothing. Didn't play any creatures because you spent all your mana on this card. Yeah, this is by far the worst one, I think. Sure, yeah, it might be good in like Commander where you have some freedom to sit back a little bit and build up your board state or build up a ton of mana value and stuff. But wow, yeah, worst one by far so far. What really gets me is this is the first one that does absolutely nothing initially. Yeah, pretty bad. Alright, Sephirous of the Hidden Ways. Another commander card. Okay, a little 2/3 human wizard, 3 mana. Whenever one or more creature cards are put in your yard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon. Whatever the heck that means, I guess we'll find out. This ability only triggers once each turn. Create undead. Whenever you complete a dungeon, turn target creature from your yard to your hand. I don't know what this whole dungeon thing is yet. Maybe we'll find out, but I don't feel like this is very good. I feel like it's pretty bad. We'll see. Alright, fighter class. Fighter's my favorite D&D class, I will say. So I'm really hoping this is good. Let's read it. 2 mana. When an ETB, search your library for equipment, put it in your hand. Nice, nice. This is probably the best one already. Like, even if it didn't have whatever level 2 and 3 say, this is already better than all of the other ones. Alright. 3 mana, equip abilities cost 2 less. Alright, that's kind of cool, but you're paying 3 to even get that, so you gotta have like multiple equipment for this to even pay off. Level 2 is pretty terrible. Let's see what level 3 is. Whenever a creature you control attacks, up to 1 target creature blocks it if able. So the level 1's super good. These ones are just totally bonus, so I still think this is good, just because it actually does something good on the first level. Here we go. We got Boo, which is, what? He's a hamster? No, he's a space hamster. Space hamster. But still cool. Nice to see Boo in there. If you haven't ever played, what is it? Is Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 that has Minsk? I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. It's not out completely, but Minsk is pretty legendary in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. And I think he's in some of the books. I haven't read them all, but this is pretty legendary to get into the game. It isn't a legend, it's a legendary creature too. Yeah, makes sense. Alright. Go for the eyes, boo. Alright, treasure chest. 3 mana. And you gotta pay 4 to even activate it. Roll d20. 1, you lose 3. Okay, this card's already really bad. Imagine dumping 7 mana and you just lose 3 life. These other ones better be really good. Alright, 2 through 9, create 5 treasure tokens. That is awful. Imagine paying 7 mana and the entire payoff is you get 5 mana. You just complete waste. Alright, what, this is a rare? This should be like common so far. I feel like. God, this is awful. Alright, so a good half the time, this is just like worse than a dud card. It's like worse than play. I don't even know how to express it. You get it though. You're literally paying to help yourself lose the game. This is like back when there was mana burn. Like mana burning yourself would be almost as good as playing this. And it's rare. Come on. Okay. 10 through 19. Gain 3 life, draw 3 cards. So you'll get that somewhere around, what, 48% of the time or something? I don't know. There's probably some better math, but maybe it's 45% of the time. Gain 3 life, draw 3 cards. That's pretty awful for 7 mana. There's plenty of draw 3 or more cards and gain some life for less than 3 mana, or less than 7. It's super awful. Okay, so 5% of the time you get the big payoff. Let's read it. Search for a card. If it's an artifact, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it in your hand. Okay, so you could potentially 5% of the time when you spend 7 mana, you get a card, an artifact from your library and put it into play, which could be a game ender, but this is the least reliable ever. Yeah, this card, this is the worst card one of the worst cards I've ever seen. So if you like losing consistently in Magic the Gathering, put 4 of these in your deck. If you can win a game with 4 of these in your deck, you're not winning off of this card. This would just be to like meme on people. I'm playing treasure chest and I beat you. This is yeah, oh my god. I really don't understand why they print cards like this and then put them in the rare slot. It's so bad. Oh, all right. You meet in a tavern. All right. 5 mana, 4 mana, sorry, sorcery. Form a party. Look at the top 5. Reveal any number of them. Put them in your hand. Put the rest of the bottom in random order. Okay, so you can potentially draw a lot of creatures for 4 mana. That's kind of cool. And the other one, start a brawl. All your creatures get +2/+2. A little mini overrun or something there. Not too bad. Not like Collected Company good. Not even close. But still not bad. There's Minsk. ETB, create Boo. We already saw Boo. X, until the end of turn, target creature has base power toughness X and becomes a giant. Activate only as a sorcery. Ew. Ew. Right there at the end, activate only as a sorcery. That's where this card became absolutely terrible. I mean, it's Mythic. If you have like a ton of mana and your opponent has 0 interaction, it could be good. I mean, because you can pump something and swing out with the big trample Boo or whatever. But you can't save your creatures. He's only a 3/3 for 3. He gets you a little 1/1. So essentially you get like 4 power toughness for 3 mana, which isn't too bad. But then this color restriction makes it kind of bad. And this X ability it's like as effective as Rada, where you can pump her equal to your lands, which wasn't super great. Like this, to me, this is basically a worse Rada. So don't think this is playable in general. I mean, people are going to play it because it's Minsk, but not super great. Kind of a letdown for a Minsk, honestly, in my opinion. I was hoping for something. You know, Minsk is a beast in Baldur's Gate. He's a lot of fun, but Yeah, and another problem with this whole X and activate as a sorcery is they just see it coming. They're going to respond to it. They're going to chump block it. This doesn't give it trample. Sure, Boo already has trample, but Boo's only a 1/1. Chances are they can remove him pretty easily. Not great. Minsk. So this is going to be the Mythic slot that's just like, oh, I got a Mythic, but it's the worst one, and it's the 50-cent Mythic. He'll probably be worth more just because he's Minsk, but not a great card. Not really playable and constructed, unfortunately. Or anything. Alright, Cleric class. 1 white mana, if you would gain life, gain that much +1 instead. Okay. Could be okay in the right deck, but doesn't really matter. Whenever you 5 or 4 mana to get to level 2, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, so that's kind of good. It is 5 mana to get there, but that could make a difference in the right life gain deck where you can just take life gain all day. Yeah, kind of, you could go along with like, you know, the lifelink ballista, the old Heliod ballista type combo could be sort of a replacement for that. So we've got some potential like real shenanigans here where you could combo off. So, and it's pretty cheap to get out initially. So I don't know, maybe okay. No real board value though. So if you're, this isn't really good in competitive. It's probably only going to be seen in like combo decks. And if you can just remove their creatures, this cleric class does absolutely nothing. So it's pretty bad. All right, when this class becomes level 3, return a creature from your yard to the battlefield. I like that. Gain life equal to its toughness. So I like the level 3. It's still 9 mana to get there, though. This might be a little better than some of the other ones, but pretty bad. Let's check out Bard class. Alright, this is the Gruul one. Legendary creatures, ETB with a +1/+1 counter on them. Okay, that doesn't really matter that much. It's kind of a dead card at first. Sure, you can get value out of it, but the problem is, if you spend mana on this, chances are you don't have enough for your legendary to follow up. And even if you do, this much mana for just a 1/1 counter on your legendary is not that great. It's got to like sit out there forever, and people just got to like not be playing. Your opponents basically have to not be playing the game for this to be good. That's the problem with these sort of effects, where you're like, I got to do this first, and then I do this, and it's a big payoff. Oh, except it's not a big payoff. It's just a really tiny payoff. Not very good. All right. Let's see what the level 2 is. At least it's cheap to get to level 2. Legendary spells you cast cost Gruul less. This effect only reduces the colored amount. Now this is actually really good. The first part's not like the worst. At least it's somewhat usable. The second part's actually quite good, I think. And see what the level 3 on Bard is. Whenever you cast a legendary, exile top 2, you may play them this turn. Yeah, that's good. That could be pretty good too. I could see this being played in Commander a lot. This is probably going to be in like a lot of Gruul Commander decks. It's not bad. It is not bad. Ranger class. 2 mana. Whenever ETBs, you get a wolf. All right, so this one's already really good. This is another one that's really good because you get a grizzly bear. Grizzly bear right off the bat. Not bad. So, well, it's a wolf, but you know, it basically pays for itself. It's actually a decent tempo play. You can play it turn 2 and be adding to the board, get some creatures on there. It could be really aggressive. So, and whatever else is bonus. Okay, pay 2 to level it up. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Not bad. Not bad. Just start adding value if you don't have anything else to spend your mana on. Make that wolf 3/3 next turn, then 4/4. So we're seeing that's pretty good. All right, level 3. Look at your top card anytime. You may cast creatures from the top of your library. Pretty good. Yeah, I'd say this one's really good too. So Ranger and Bard have been good. What else? Fighter was good. Sorcerer was almost okay. Rogue was I don't know, just throw it in the bin. Like, what is this card? It's garbage. Yeah, Ranger's good. Let's check out Wizard. 1 blue. You have no maximum hand size. All right, blue loves that. It's kind of cool, but not that big of a deal. Level it up for 3. When this becomes level 2, draw 2 cards. Okay, this is pretty good. This is already starting to get okay. Still not great. Like, drawing 2 cards for 4 mana is not great. There's way better ways to do that. No maximum hand size. Not super relevant, but still okay. Let's see what level 3 is. Whenever you draw a card, put +1/+1 counter on target creature control. Alright, not bad. Not great. Not all that playable. But not bad. Not too terrible. Alright, Warlock class. So some of these are uncommon. I'm starting to see. Alright, 1 black mana, beginning of your end step. If a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. That's barely matters at all. It doesn't it's just 1 life. You can't trigger it over and over like a Blood Artist or anything else. It's just one. And it's only your end step, not every end step. So initially, this is not worth the 1 mana, I don't think, in general. Because it literally does nothing unless you also are sitting on removal. Or if you attacked and played the second main after things already died, so you know you get the 1. It's still only 1 life. It's not very much. Alright, level it up for 2. At least it's cheap to level, so you can get it right to level 2 right away if you've got 3 mana. And when it becomes level 2, look at the top 3 of your library, 1 in your hand, rest in your graveyard. Alright, that's not bad. I kind of like that. And for 7, you get the level 3. It's going to be a big one, I guess. Beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. Alright, so we're looking at Fiend of Despair. This becomes Fiend of Despair at level 3. Beginning of it's only your end step. Fiend of Despair is every end step, which is what makes him so good. Yeah, it's not really worth leveling. I could see how you could like swing out, level this, and end the game. But yeah, it looks like playing this for 3 mana, basically playing it and then leveling it right away is going to be the majority of how this gets used. Because at least for 3 mana, you draw a card, put 2 into your graveyard, which if you're to deck the 1 stuff in your graveyard, could be okay. Not super great, but I could see this being playable with the level 2. Still not great, though. I probably won't play. I might test it. I'm pretty excited to test some of these cards once they come out. Make some new arena decks. Alright, what do we got here? Another commander guy. 4 mana, 1/4, Tiefling Warlock, 1/4 Death Touch. Okay. I never like this 4 mana cost for things without. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what he does. At the beginning of your end step, exile top card of your library. Till your next turn, you may play it. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good. It's basically draw. It's sort of like draw a card every turn, which is not bad. Alright, and then he also has more stuff. Whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure. Well, okay. This guy's actually good. I wish he was a tiny bit cheaper. Like if he was like a 1/1 for 2 mana or something, he'd be super, super strong. But 4 mana can be a pretty steep investment. At least you're going to get cards. At least you're going to get treasure. He had Death Touch, so nobody's really going to want to attack you if you have him, at least not on the ground. Yeah, I think this guy's not bad. Prosper's okay. He's probably one of the better legendaries so far. Other than that 1 dragon. Okay, we got Old Nalbone. A 7 mana, 7/7 flying green dragon mythic. Woo! Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Yeah, this guy's gonna be really hot in Commander. I can tell you that right now. Constructed, meh. Limited, pretty good because it's 7/7 flying. Like that just wins games. The treasure token is not going to be quite as strong in Constructed and Limited, I don't think. Because once you're at 7 mana and can cast this thing, you don't really need treasures anymore. You're kind of good on mana, you know? But still kind of cool because you could play him first main, ton of mana, sure. Swing with your other guys, get a bunch of treasures. Second main, play even more stuff. Yeah, there's some serious potential, but this 7 mana, you're going to need to cheat him into play. You don't want to be spending 7 mana hard casting this, but if you can like get a sneak attack of some sort in there, pretty cool. All right, we got Zorn. 3 mana, red elemental, nice. Whenever if you would create one or more treasure tokens, it said create that many +1. An additional. Okay. All right, that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's super good, but it's kind of cool. Imagine, well, he only increases Dockside by 1 because Dockside does them all at once. And yeah, okay. Ooh, Barbarian Class, another one of my favorite classes. Barbarian and Fighter. You can tell what kind of D&D player. I also really like Wizard, but none of that matters to this game. All right, 1 red mana, what do you get? If you would roll dice, roll that many +1 and ignore the lowest. All right, this is already really good. This is called advantage in D&D. When you get to roll an extra dice and ignore the lowest one, it's called advantage. Advantage is really strong in D&D. It's pretty much almost an auto hit. It like increases your chance of success by a lot. For 1 mana in the right deck, this could be useful, but obviously if you don't roll dice, this is just completely useless. It does nothing. So yeah, this is probably going to see play in anything that rolls a lot of dice. All right, level it up for a little bit more, 2 mana more. If you roll 1 or more dice, target creature control gets +2/+0 and gains menace until the end of turn. And the last one is creatures you control get haste. It's 6 mana to give your guys haste. That's the big thing here, unless you roll dice. So 6 mana to get haste is pretty awful. But yeah, if you're rolling lots of dice, this could be pretty good. Advantage is super nice. This has potential. It just depends what else is in the set. On its own, this card is pretty useless. But when comboed with other stuff we might potentially see, or other cards that roll dice, are there other cards in Magic that aren't in Unglued that roll dice? Like everything that's coming to mind is in Unglued. All right, well, let's check out this guy. A 1/3 Lizard Scaled Herbalist. Tap and put a land into play. Pretty good little common here. I like him as a common. I would be a little happier with him if he just tapped for mana, honestly. But putting a land into play is not bad. You can do it your opponent's end step, so you can still be saving him as a blocker. He's not bad. It's just if you have no lands to put into play with him, he's just like a 1/3 vanilla for 2 mana, which is not good. So in the right deck, he could be pretty cool. Just a common, though. We're going to see tons of them. Dancing Sword. All right. 2 mana. White card. Equip creatures +2/+1. Equip for 1. Okay, that's a pretty cheap equip. Dancing Sword. What is this? A level 1 or 2 spell in D&D? I forget. Whenever equipped creature dies, you may have Dancing Sword become a 2/1 construct artifact creature with flying and ward 1. If you do, it isn't an equipment. Huh. I don't know how good this is, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, the creature that you put it on dies, you just get a little construct, but then your Dancing Sword is, I don't know. I don't think this is good. I feel like this should probably be an uncommon. I could be wrong. It could be pretty good in aggressive decks where you can kind of push through with some final value by getting this construct, even if they kill your creature. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, we got an Arcane Investigator next. A little 2/1 for 2, blue card, Elf Wizard. All right, it's a mana dump. Search the room. 6 mana to roll a d20. 1 through 9 draw a card. Ew. 10 through 20. Look at the top 3 of your library. 1 in your hand, rest on the bottom. Ew. I guess if you have like infinite mana, obviously this is great. So this is like, it's kind of like a worse Thrasios, much worse Thrasios, or something like that. Yeah, I guess, if your whole deck combo is to generate infinite mana, you're gonna put this in your deck. But otherwise, you'll never play this because it's awful. I think. Yeah, I just can't see why you would play this over something that draws cards for less mana, you know? Alright. Well, it is just a common, so. Alright, Herald of Hadar. 5 mana, 4/4 human warlock. Another 6 mana to roll a d20. He's common, though. 1 through 9, you wasted your mana. 10 through 19, you wasted your mana. 20, you're still wasting your mana. That's terrible. Alright. Loathsome Troll. A 5 mana, 6/2 green, uncommon. Alright, roll d20. Activate only if he's in your yard. So he activates from the yard. That's pretty interesting. 1 through 9, put him on top. 10 through 19. Turn to your hand. 20, return them tapped. Problem with these is there's just so much mana to even try, and you might just whiff and basically get nothing. It's not very good. Not very good. But they are just, low slots. At least they're not rares like some of these other garbage cards. Which one? Minsk. I mean, he's a mythic even. He probably should be a rare. Treasure chest. Please, just don't even print this. Like, if it's this bad, just don't even print it. Oh my god. I really can't believe how bad treasure chest is. I know they gotta print bad cards so that the good cards look better and all that. You gotta have the contrast in there. But do something to make this like semi-playable. It really annoys me when they just. This is the problem with this for me. Is it's just like 100% waste. There's nothing here. Like, you spent time designing it, complete waste of time. You spent resources printing it, complete waste of time. Like, everything that went into this card is 100% waste, which annoys me. I don't like seeing things go to waste. I like being economical. And every possible angle of this card is a waste. Waste of resources, waste of time, waste of design decisions, waste of brain power, waste of everything. It's just such an awful card. And people are going to read it and try to think, how can this be useful? And they're wasting their time too. Oh, God. Please, no on the treasure chest. Why, Wizards? What are you doing? This is why people quit your game. All right, let's move on. Just kidding about that. I don't know. I don't know. People have their own reasons. Still a cool game. Still plenty of other cards. All right. 3 mana. Enchanted on land permanent. Enchanted permanent is a treasure artifact with sack. It'll just turn something into a treasure. It's actually not too bad. It's decent removal. For a common, it's pretty decent removal. I don't hate it. I feel like it should probably be an uncommon. All right, Guardian of Faith. I guess it is 3 mana. The minimus containment, so that's probably why it's common. If it were 2 mana, I feel like it would be really good. All right, Guardian of Faith. Spirit Knight with Flash, 3/2 rare. Flash Vigilance. ETB. Any number of other target creatures you control phase out. Okay, so you can just kind of save your creatures a little bit. Phase out does not. When things phase back in, they don't trigger ETB stuff, so you can't really do flicker shenanigans with this, but you could save your guys. I don't know, not super great. Probably doesn't deserve a rare slot in my opinion, because nobody is going to. This isn't going to see play. There's just so many cards. If you want like a protection card, there's just so many that cost 1 mana that will save your creatures, or 2 mana. That 3 with this specific color, it's really only going to be playable in like mono white, or maybe a 2-color deck, but anything beyond that, it's not really playable. And if you're already limiting yourself to 1 or 2 colors, you got to play stronger cards than this to make an impact, so don't think it's very good. Could make a difference, but I don't think it's worth playing. Kalane, Reclusive Painter. ETB, create a treasure token. Okay, wait, let's talk about this a little more. He's an uncommon. Human Elf Bard. Black and a red mana. ETB, create a treasure. So he's essentially 1 mana for 1/2. Okay, this guy's already pretty good. Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on them for each mana spent to cast them. He's not bad. I can't say this card is bad. It's got good tempo, gets you a treasure. You're going to get a little buff basically for free, maybe even more on other stuff. I wish he was like a 2/2 or 2/3, but he would be way too good if that were the case. So, I don't know. Not bad though. I like Kalane. Like, this should be a rare, probably. They need to like make this one an uncommon, make this one a rare. simple, right? Pretty obvious stuff there. But I guess I'm not the first person in the world to disagree with Wizards' design decisions. I'm pretty sure every player has pretty strong opinions on Wizards' design decisions. But some things are just really obvious, and like it would be better in a different way. That I'm always kind of surprised they missed. But we see this with every set. Wizards almost breaks the game with every new set. Joke. All right, Shocking Grasp. -2, -0 until the end of turn. Draw a card. What? I mean, okay. Not the greatest card, but the thing that bothers me about this is in D&D, this isn't even close to how Shocking Grasp works. This is like a completely different card. Don't call this Shocking Grasp. That's not how Shocking Grasp just does like electricity damage on touch in D&D. This does 0 damage. It's got to do some damage if it's a Shocking Grasp. Otherwise, it's not Shocking Grasp. And what is the draw card? There's no like any sort of tempo. There's no like advantage on Shocking Grasp. This is a total flavor fail in the Shocking Grasp. I'm not sure what they were thinking there or who designed that and was like, oh, this matches Shocking Grasp. Here we go. No one caught that? I gotta look up Shocking Grasp. Okay. Shocking Grasp cantrip evocation. Okay, it does have the cantrip, so that's the draw card cantrip. That at least fits. But let's see what this does. I haven't read this in a while, so I could have been wrong. Lightning springs from your hand to deliver a shock to any creature. Make a melee touch. You have advantage on the attack roll if it's wearing armor made of metal. On hit, takes 1d8 lightning damage and can't take reactions until the start of its next turn. So the -2 kind of fits with the can't take reactions. I guess that's not too bad. The cantrip fits with the draw card. It's not too bad. But where's the damage? This does 1d8 lightning damage. There's no damage here. So I feel like it should be -2, -1, and then it would make sense. Or -2, -0 until the end of the turn and takes 1 damage. Or something like that. It's got to have some sort of damage, or it's just not Shocking Grasp. My opinion. Alright, let's see what else we got. We got Red Dragon. 4/4 for 6. Terrible. When it ETBs 4 damage to each opponent. I guess that's okay. But still 6 mana. No one's going to play that. I don't think. Unless you can sneak a bunch of them and play at once, or flicker a bunch of them and kill all your opponents. That could be fun. But, yeah, not super great. It'd be really nice if it did it to, like, a creature as well. Like, each opponent and one of their creatures or something. That would be kind of cool. I would really like it if it did that. Hulking Bugbear. 3 mana, 3/3 with haste. Goblin. Are bugbears goblins? I don't think they are. Alright, let's check this. A bugbear is a tall, hulking humanoid distantly related to, but larger and stronger than goblins and hobgoblins. So it's a distant relation. I guess it almost fits. Yeah, alright. We'll give it a pass. Still feels a little weird. But if it's got distant relation, I guess we can call it a goblin. Alright, we got Demi Lich. 4 blue, only playable in mono blue. Wait, so Lich, that's a skeleton wizard. Nice, nice. And this is a mythic. Alright, so this might be one of the big cards. Let's read. Cost 1 blue less for each instant or sorcery you've cast this turn. Okay, so this could potentially be a free spell. Alright, we're already looking strong. 4/3. Reduces anytime you cast an instant or sorcery. You know, if you're playing like Ponder, Opt, stuff like that, I guess this would be like legacy formats. But in Modern or something, this might already be good. Let's see what it does. It's got a bunch of other text on it, and it's a mythic. Whenever it attacks, exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, copy it, you may cast the copy. Not bad. It's also not legendary. So with the right deck, you could potentially flood these Demi Liches onto the board. Because once you cast 3 or 4 spells, it's so cheap, you can be like, Demi Lich, Demi Lich, Demi Lich. 3 Demi Liches suddenly on turn 3 could be pretty scary. And then you get all this value of replaying your spells. You may cast Demi Lich from your graveyard by exiling 4 instant sorceries in addition to playing its other cost. Oh, and it's castable from the yard, but you do have to exile 4 instants or sorceries. This last ability's probably not going to come into play too much because it's kind of a hard thing to get, especially if you're already exiling stuff, recasting. But at least it's got it. It's better than not having the ability. Yeah, this card has potential. I don't know if it's super good or not yet, but it's got some really strong potential in older formats. I think we might see this played some in like Legacy or Vintage, or maybe even Modern a bit. I'm curious to see how Demi Lich does. It's a cool card. I like the design. Alright, Wizard Spellbook. 7 mana. Rare artifact. Blue. Tap. Exile instant sorcery. Roll d20. Activate only as a sorcery. Alright, this card's already bad. I don't even really want to read it. Anything that says activate as a sorcery, I just want to not read anymore usually because it's... Alright, well, alright. Let's just read it. Fine. 45% of the time. Copy that card, you may cast it. For free? No, it's not free. I don't think. Is it? When they do this copy and you may cast the copy, does you still have to pay for it? Or is it free? Because I don't know. Maybe they've been changing the wording a little bit recently. So I don't know if they mean like it's free copy and just, cast it. There it goes. Because usually they say you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost or something. So I'm not sure. All right, 45% of the... Wait, 45% is probably wrong. 45. No, this one here, 10 through 19. Okay, so this is 50% of the time. The 10 through 19 is a 50%. Copy that card. You may cast the copy by paying 1 rather than its mana cost. Okay, so the 1 through 9 you still have to pay the mana cost, which is awful. You're already paying 7 mana for this spell book. Then you gotta pay for whatever you get. And this one you gotta pay 1, which, this is gonna be really hard to activate on the turn you play it because its mana cost is already so steep. So this card's looking really bad. Alright, 5% of the time, copy each card exiled with Wizard Spellbook. You may cast any number of copies without paying their mana cost. So 5% of the time you're going to get a bomb, but this is only a bomb if you've activated it several times before already. So overall, I think this card is pretty weak just because it's going to take so much time and mana to even start getting value out of, that by the time you get it online, you're going to be dead, basically. And the thing about that is you think, okay, I can find ways to delay. No, you can't. You spent 7 mana on this useless card. You needed that mana to save yourself, probably. That's why this is bad. All right, let's move on. But, okay, just one last thing on the spellbook. If you can cheat it into play, it could be a lot of fun. Like if you can get it out on turn 1 or 2 or something. It has potential. There's a little potential here. But I don't think it's really that playable. Alright, Rim Shield Frost Giant. It's a common, 4/5 with Ward 3 for 5 mana. Okay. Fine and limited. Alright, next we got another uncommon. Sorcery for 3 mana. Choose target creature opponent controls. Roll d20. 1 through 9. It bounces. This is a sorcery. This isn't even an instant. 10 through 19 on top of their library. 20. Gain control of it until the end of your next turn. Ew. It's a pretty awful card. The problem with this is, well, first of all, it's not instant. That's the biggest problem right there. And 20, it could be like worst case scenario. Because if it's some big creature you need to get rid of or want to bounce, 1 through 9 is fine. 10 through 19 is fine. But 20 is like, now you're still going to swing with it next turn and kill me. So 20 is like a critical fail on this one. Sure, there's a case where you steal it and kill them because you get to attack with it or whatever. But it might already be tapped from them attacking you previously, so gaining control won't do anything unless you have something to sack it. If you have one of these like that, I don't know, If you have some sack outlet, the 20 would be good, but otherwise the 20 is like the worst. This should be the 1. This gain control until the end of your... Well, it is till the end of your next turn. So that makes it a little better. It's like better than Active Treason at least. Because you do get to untap with it on your next turn and do something with it. I'm on the fence about this. I don't think it's good because it's not instant, but we'll see. Goblin Javelineer. 1/1 haste Goblin Warrior. Alright, cool. Whenever it becomes blocked, does 1 damage to target creature blocking it. Okay. Bag of Holding. Oh. Bag of Holding now uncommon. This was in Core 2020 as a rare. And now they've printed it here as an uncommon. Not even going to talk about it. Don't even want to talk about it. Hired Hex Blade, 2/2 for 2. Elf Warlock, ETB. If it was cast with a treasure, draw a card, lose life. Just a common, whatever. Not great. Wait, what's the hex? Why is it a Hex Blade? There's no hex there. There's nothing about hex in the flavor. Oh, whatever. Alright. Lurking Roper. 3 mana, 4/5. Doesn't untap. Whenever you gain life, untap it. Alright. Kind of cool. Warding Ogre. Whenever attacks, roll d20. 45% of the time, create a treasure. 50% of the time, create 2 treasures. 5% of the time, create 3 treasures. It's decent for a common. You know, it's just like a better hill giant. I don't know if it's decent. It's actually pretty bad. But kind of cool. I like the flavor. Alright, Jaded Sellsword. A 4 mana, 4/3 Dragon Warrior. ETB. If mana from treasure was spent, it gains first strike and haste till the end of turn. It's just a common, but nothing super special. Pretty cool and limited potentially with the haste first strike. It's only until the end of turn though. Today, that'll cost you extra. Nice flavor. A Brazen Dwarf. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Just a common. If you can find a way to roll dice for free, you can just win the game here. So that might be interesting. And there's probably going to be ways to do that. You get like some kind of flicker loop or infinite mana on one of those other roll cards. This will just end the game. I don't think this is good though in general, unless you're comboing with it. The 1 damage to each opponent is not that great. If it were one damage to any target, it would be a lot better. Swarming Goblins. A 4/3 for 5 mana. Whenever it enters the battlefield, roll d20. 45% of the time, create a 1/1 Goblin. Still terrible value for 5 mana. Oh, it is only a common. 50% of the time, create 2 of those tokens. 5% of the time, create 3 of those tokens. Not super great. I don't know. I'm curious to see if this will work in like a Muxus deck or something, where if you hit this, you get a bunch more goblins, and you could potentially sack them to like Skirk Prospector or something. I feel like there's a tiny bit of potential here, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it's going to be played. Hill Giant Herd Gorger. 6 mana, 7/6. ETB gain 3 life. We see one of these in like every set. Something along this line. It's a big green creature that gets you a little life when it ETBs. Every set has got one of some sort. They're really good in limited. They're nice in draft usually because, hey, you want a couple big top end guys. But other than that, not very playable. Doesn't even have trample. Doesn't even have reach. Nah, not a fan. Alright. Too expensive. Gretchen Titchwiller. Titchwillow? It's hard to say. Alright, another legendary halfling druid. Another one of these 2 mana guys. It's 0/4. You can pay 4, draw a card, put a land from your hand on the battlefield. Okay, this is pretty good. Thrasios may have met his match. Her match. I don't know if Thrasios is male or female. This is decent, though. This is decent. Draw a card, put a land into play. So it's essentially you can You've got, what is that card? Not Uro. The other one. The wild whatever. The thing that got banned. Can't think of the name. On a stick. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is playable. This is one of the better cards in the set already. Gretchen. Nice. Feywild Trickster. 3 mana, 2/2. Whenever you roll dice, you get a little fairy flyer, 1/1 flyer. Oh, it's a dragon too. Fairy dragon. I don't know. Okay. In the right deck, it could be good, but not that great. Delano, Wild Mage. 4 mana, 3/2. Whenever Delano Wild Mage attacks, choose a creature you control, roll d20. What is this? I'm trying to think of the percent here. I think this is, I don't know. Okay, well, 1 through 14. What do you get? You get a tapped token that's a copy of that creature. Whenever attacked, choose a creature, roll d20. You get a tapped copy. Except it's legendary, has exiled into combat. Create one of those tokens and then roll again. There's pretty decent shenanigans. The cool thing about this is at least you definitely get at least one copy until the end of turn. You do have to attack with it. This would be a lot better with haste. It's okay. I'm going to go with it's okay. With multiple combat phases, if you can untap and keep attacking with like a relentless assault type effect, this could be really good. But it's going to be kind of clunky without haste on itself. Because you got to play it, untap with it, hope it doesn't die. It's only got 2 toughness, easily shocked or stomped. I don't think it's really going to be playable, but some people might try to pull some combos with it. We'll see. Interesting. Contact the other plane. Here we go. Another card that's in every set. Some form of that old inspiration card. You know, the 4 mana draw 2 at instant speed. That card's in every set as a common, and it basically does the same thing. All right, roll d20, draw 2, or scry, then draw 2, or scry, draw 3 on the critical 20. I mean, it's better than inspiration, but still, it's kind of iffy. The casting cost is just a little high for that. There's just a lot of cheaper ways to draw 2 cards, even at instant speed. So it's not really going to be very playable. And you can't rely on getting the 20. If it happens, awesome. But generally, it's not going to happen. Alright, critical hit. 2 mana instant. Target creature gains double strike. Alright, cool. Whenever you roll a natural 20, return it from your yard to your hand. Cool. I like the design of this card. I'm not sure if it's good or not yet, but it's cool. Jin Windseeker. ETB, roll 20. You just get a scry. So 3/3 flying for 4, which isn't terrible. Especially in limited. This is like maybe even a first pick in limited potentially. The scry is not a huge deal. It's like a nice bonus. It's just a common though. It's good for a common. Alright, next up we got Scion of whatever. Stygia. 3 mana, 2/1 with Flash, Tiefling Shaman, Cone of Cold. ETB, choose a creature, roll d20. 1 through 9, tap it. 10 through 20, tap it, doesn't untap. Why do they... this really annoys me that they're putting these damage spells, these spells that are classically known for the damage they do, and then just making them do no damage. That bothers me. Like, this should do 1 or at least some kind of damage. Otherwise, it's not a Cone of Cold. This is like a twiddle. Not cone of cold. Twiddle. All right. Whatever. Tap. It can't untap, so twiddle's the wrong thing. But still, you get the point. It is flash. You can tap things before they attack. It's not bad. This isn't a terrible card. I don't like the flavor of the Cone of Cold just not doing damage, which is generally the biggest point of Cone of Cold in D&D. It might have a slow effect. I haven't cast that spell in a while, but definitely one of its big shining points is that it does damage. So, Alright, deck of many things. Mythic, of course it's Mythic. Alright, this is a really classic legendary D&D item that if you find, your whole campaign shifts. Alright, 5 mana. Legendary artifact. 2 tap, roll d20, subtract the number of cards in your hand. If it's 0 or less, discard your hand. Alright, 1 through 9. Return a card at random from your yard to your hand. Alright, so far this is god awful. 10 through 19, draw 2 cards. God awful. 20, put a creature from your yard on the battlefield under your control and it dies. Its owner loses the game. From any graveyard. So there's some lose game shenanigans on here, which makes it a little better, but that's still only 5% of the time. The rest of the time you're paying 7 mana to potentially discard your hand and then maybe get 1 card back. Or 7 mana to draw 2 cards. It's just awful. I mean, play Contact the other plane over deck of many things, and this is a common. This is a mythic. Terrible design. Terrible design. Please. At least make this 10 through 19, like draw 7 cards or something. Something actually legendary. Draw 2 cards? Just for 7 mana to even start it is so bad. It is so bad. Oh my goodness. They botched that one. They botched that real bad. Ew. I'm still looking at this in disbelief. I don't even know what else to say. It's a deck of many things. Like, you know, it's kind of a cursed item in D&D, so it can have some bad effects, which is sort of the point. But the thing is here, it's a legendary mythic that you're going to get, like, you know, 1 every 3 boxes of this set that you open. And when you pull it, it's going to be like a 50-cent mythic, and you're just going to be like, oh, dang. One of my mythics was deck of many things. So that sucks, you know. Pixie Guide. 1/3 flying. Alright, going back to deck for one more thing. I know I'm complaining about it because I do think it's a terrible card that's not worth playing ever. But the thing that really makes it bad is they've printed commons that are directly better than it. They printed commons that are directly better in the same set. Oh god, please. Please. Please, Wizards. Just a little bit of just a tiny bit of your brain. It blows my mind that this is happening. Alright. Pixie Guide. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1, ignore it. Okay, advantage. Nice. Could be good. 1/3 little flyer. Not super great. Alright, it's just a common. Lightfoot Rogue. I wonder how much this advantage is going to matter, because, like, okay, notably, advantage on some of these cards that are iffy makes them a little bit better. It's still not great, though. What this basically means is this is pretty much always going to be draw 2 cards. Well, pretty good percentage of the time it's going to be draw 2 cards, and you should almost never be discarding your hand if you have advantage. So maybe deck of many things becomes decent if you have advantage, but without advantage, it's not very good at all. Alright, Lightfoot Rogue. Another Rogue. Prepare to be milled. Is that card rotating out yet? Is the Demi Rogue deck rotating out yet? Please. I want to play Arena. I'm ready. Usually what happens... never mind. I'm not going to go on a tangent. I'll just say that that is my least favorite deck to play against in the history of Magic ever. I'd rather be comboed and killed turn 1 than play against rogues and just have people flash out mill. And even if I like contend with them, I still lose because I get milled by these goofy rogues. I just despise that deck. It's so annoying to play against. It's so unfun. Alright, sorry. Tangent over. Lightfoot Rogue. 2/1, whatever attacks, roll d20. 1 through 9, it almost is worth its value. 10 through 19, it's almost worth its value. 20, it's decent. So 5% of the time, this is worth playing. Pretty bad card. All right, Death Priest of Miracle. Yeah, this 20 is epic, though. First strike, death touch, 5-1. Pretty good. Still easily killed, though, with 1 toughness, but you're not. Chances are you're not going to get that 20. Chances are it's a 3-1 death touch or 2-1 death touch, which is not super great. If it had death touch all the time and you could block with a death toucher, one of the big advantages of death touch is sitting back with it and people can attack you because they know whatever they attack with is going to die, so stalls the board out. But this guy, if he's not attacking, it's just a 2-1 vanilla creature, you're still going to get swung at. Not very good. Not a very strong card, but it's potentially okay in limited, though. Constructed, should probably never play this. All right, Death Priest of Miracle. 4 mana, 2/2, Tiefling Cleric. Skeletons, vampires, zombies you control get +1/+1. All right, nice. Oh, Lord. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died, you pay 1, create a black skeleton. All right, this is kind of cool. Kind of cool. I like it. Goblin Morningstar. Equipment, a red equipment for 2, equip 2, equip creatures +1/+0, and trample. On ETBs, you can 45% of the time you get a goblin. 55% of the time you'll get a goblin and attach Morningstar to it. So majority of the time you will get a 2/1 trample for 2 mana, and you got an equipment that sits behind. It's not too bad. It's not that great though. Volo, Guide to Monsters. Nice. This is a pretty big card to add. A lot of big name to live up to. All right, 4 mana for a 3/2 legendary human wizard. Rare. Whenever you cast a creature that doesn't share a type with a creature you control, or a creature in your graveyard, copy that spell. All right, so this is going to incentivize you to have as many different weird creature types in your deck. I love this flavor-wise. Really like this flavor-wise. This could potentially be really strong in Commander too, because you could place like some big hasty creature and just have 2 of them, or 2 ETBs on something. So yeah, this kind of reminds me of I don't know, just other 4 mana creatures that give you value when you cast. But yeah, he's okay, not bad. Precipitous Drop. 3 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon, enter the first room or advance to the next room. Okay. Starting to kind of understand how these dungeon things work. We'll probably see some of them yet. We're an hour in here. And I think we got quite a bit to go. No, we're nearing the end. Yeah, we're nearing the end. This is definitely a long video. All right, Centric Apprentice. Oh, we gotta finish reading this. Enchanted creature is -2, -2. Pretty awful for 3 mana. It's -5, -5 if you've completed a dungeon. Still not super great. I guess if you really need the venture into the dungeon effect, this might be playable, but otherwise I don't think so. Limited its removal at least. All right, Centric Apprentice. 3 mana, 2/2 flying, Tiefling Wizard. ETB, venture into the dungeon. Beginning of combat, if you complete a dungeon, up to 1 target creature becomes a bird with base power 1/1 and flying until the end of the turn. Not a fan. Clunky. I guess if you need the dungeon stuff, it might be playable. Dragon's Disciple, 1/3 for 2 mana, human monk. ETB, reveal a dragon from your hand. If you do, or if you control a dragon, it enters the battlefield as a 2/4. Dragons you control have ward 1. I don't know, kind of cool little dragon card there. Not sure if it's good or not. It has potential. What do we got here? Shepard of Sylvanas. Overpriced for the stats. Has vigilance whenever you attack, you're going to gain a little life. It's just a common, not super great. Pretty bad tempo. 3 mana for 2/3s. Not very good these days. Delver's Torch. A little common equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, venture into the dungeon. Okay. Equip 3, though. That's 5 mana to get +1/+1 on a creature and start a dungeon delve. Yeah, that's not playable, I don't think. Alright, Veteran Dungeoneer. ETB, venture to the dungeon. Yeah, whatever. We've seen a bunch of these. Wandering Troubadour. Dragon Bard. A 4 mana 4/2. Beginning of your end step, if you had a land, ETB, venture into the dungeon. Interesting. I wish he was just a little bit cheaper, though. Looks like all these venture into the dungeon cards are at least 3 CMCs, so they don't want you to be doing it for cheap, it looks like. Not counting this as... I'm counting this as like 5 mana. I said like 3 CMC, but obviously this is only 2, but plus the equip, you're still spending 5. Alright, Orcus, Prince of Undeath. We got an X spell. It's 4 to even start, and then X, so you need a lot of mana for this guy. It's demon, though. Oh, I'm intrigued. Flying, trample. ETB, choose one. Each other creature gets -X, -X. You lose X life. Return up to X creature cards from with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste. This guy's got some potential. Yeah, I like this. You could just ignore the X, and for just 4 mana drop a 5/3 flying trample, which is not bad. Not bad at all. And he has the potential, if you have a lot of mana, to do some other shenanigans. Bring stuff back from your yard straight into play with haste. That's pretty good. Or he could potentially board wipe. You lose some life, but it's probably going to be worth it if you need to wipe the board. Yeah, this card is potentially pretty strong here. 3 toughness is iffy. I wish he had a little more, but that might be pushing it for what it does. Yeah, I like this card. I'm not sure if it's going to see a ton of play, but I like the design and all that. It's pretty good. Secret Door. Okay. We got a Defender. 5 mana. Venture to the dungeon. Activate a sorcery. Yeah, just a common. Not great. If you need the dungeon, venture. 5 mana is pretty expensive, but at least it's repeatable. As a sorcery makes it really bad, especially as blue, because if you're playing blue, one of the main things you want to be doing in blue is saving your mana so that you can potentially interact during your opponent's turn. But with this card, you can't, because you got to do it as a sorcery. So pretty awful. At least it's an 0/4 wall, but nah. Instrument of the Bards. We got a 1 mana green rare legendary artifact. All right. So cheap that you can play it on turn 1. Let's see what it does. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of Bards. 4 tap, search for library for a creature with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on it. Put it into your hand. If it's legendary, create a treasure token. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I kind of like this. The best thing about it is it doesn't say activate only as a sorcery. That's the best, by far the best thing about this, is they decided to leave this annoying activate only as a sorcery off of this card. I know this is just me complaining, but I really feel like they should just never put this activate only as a sorcery unless the card is excessively powerful. That's like the only time they should do this, because it just makes cards totally unplayable. The card goes from, maybe I could play it to, oh no, I'd never ever play that, just like straight to the dumpster. So I just wish they would not do this as often. Maybe they have reasons. Maybe dungeon venturing is pretty powerful. I'm not sure yet, so I don't know. But I like this card. For 1 mana, it's not bad. You start getting harmony counters on it. You can get some treasure tokens as you search up things. You can sit on your mana and do it end of turn. The only real problem here is it's not that great of a tempo play. This is like a control type play. You know, it's like a late game, you're never gonna keep me down type thing. But like green wants to be pretty aggro and fast. It's not good for that really. At least mono green. This is probably going to see a lot of play in Commander though, as people want to go grab their special legendaries that they can end the game with and all that. So this is probably going to be one of the more played cards. We'll see, I guess, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. Planner Ally. A 3/3 for 5 flying whenever it attacks, venture to the dungeon. Okay, it's just a common. Clattering Skeleton, so when it dies, venture to the skeleton, venture to the dungeon. 4 mana, 4/3. Okay, just commons. These are kind of whatever. Eltgard Ranger, 5 mana, 4/1 reach. ETB, create a wolf. Meh. It's pretty good for a common, I guess. 5 mana. You do get a wolf. You get a reach, flyer blocker, which can be pretty relevant and limited. Because oftentimes it's flyers that end the game, so getting something with reach can make a big difference. Displacer Beast. Alright, this is classy. ETB, venture into the dungeon. Okay, this is probably, already I can tell you this is probably one of the better venture into the dungeon cards. 3 mana, you get a 3/2, you venture into the dungeon. Displacement. 4 mana, return it to its owner's hand. So yeah, this has got some recursion, shenanigans, late game. If you're doing some dungeon stuff, you probably want this because it's decent tempo. The 3/2 for 3. It's not the worst. At least you get something onto the field to block with if you're in trouble. And then, but being able to repeat this dungeon thing, being able to bounce, save it, so it's pretty expensive, but it's not bad. I feel like it might be playable in the right dungeon deck. We'll see about these. Okay, +2 mace. I love the name. It's probably the best name on a card so far. +2 mace. It's generic. It's common. +2 maces in D&D are typically not common. Just saying. I would say that they're rare, but this is an awful card though. 2 mana, 3 mana to equip. Just gets a vanilla +2/+2. Really bad. A Spike Pit Trap. 1 mana flash. 5 tap sack. You can do 5 damage 45% of the time. Deals 5 damage to the creature you target. 55% of the time deals 5 damage to that creature. Then create a treasure. So it's what, like you get their loot or something. I like the flavor of this, but it's just a common, I guess, so it's not bad. It does have flash. So it's basically 6 mana to do 5 damage at instant speed, and you potentially get a treasure. So it's potentially 5 mana for 5 damage. Being that any color can play this makes it a little better. Pretty pricey though. Not really sure if it's playable. Don't think so. Fate's Reversal. 2 mana sorcery. Turn up to 1 creature card from your yard to your hand. Venture to the dungeon. Okay, this is one of the cheaper venture into the dungeon. 2 mana to get the venture start is good, but it has no other value unless you have something in your yard. Farida's Fireball. 5 mana, instant, 5 damage to a creature, planeswalker, roll d20. 5 damage for 5 mana at instant speed. Creature, planeswalker. It's okay. It's not great. Alright. 45% of the time, 2 damage to each player. 55% of the time, 2 damage to each opponent. Still not great. It's decent removal if you don't have anything else in like a draft, but otherwise not that great. Farida, Devil's Chosen. Nice. So we've got another uncommon legendary. They seem to have this legendary cycle of uncommons. 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Farida gets flying and menace till the end of turn. If the result was 10 or higher, draw a card. Hey, it's got card draw on it. So if you're rolling dice, you're probably going to want this, well, not in typical constructed, but it's maybe playable in the right deck. I'm not really too keen on it, to be honest, though. It's kind of iffy. You got to do a lot of stuff before you even start drawing a card. You got to find something else that rolls dice. I haven't really seen much that rolls dice for free. Seems like almost anything that rolls dice so far has costed a pretty good chunk of mana to start rolling dice. So that's kind of what makes this not so great in my opinion. Alright, Drider, 5 mana 4/3 reach, Elf Spider, deals combat damage to player. You get a 2/1 with menace reach. Yeah, alright. Nothing super great there, but kind of cool. Improvised weaponry, 3 mana sorcery, 2 damage to any target, create a treasure. This could be pretty good and limited. You probably want to, this may be a first or second pick, limited. But it's not super great. Borrowin of Clan Under. For as much as I play D&D, there's a lot of these little characters I've never heard of. I probably just haven't played those modules or read those books. Alright, 4 mana, 3/3 Dwarf Cleric. I've stopped saying the colors because you guys can just look. It's throat's starting to get dry. Alright, whenever ETBs venture to the dungeon, whenever it attacks, return a creature, mana cost 3 or less, from your graveyard to the battlefield if you've completed a dungeon. The tempo on this is kind of bad, but if you need the dungeon thing, it might be good. 4 mana for 3/3s. Not that great. Alright, dungeon map. Ah, Mana Rock. 3 mana, Mana Rock. 3 activated sorcery, venture to the dungeon. Okay. I'm not sure if that's good. I don't think it's good. It's just 6 mana to even start venturing, but at least you got a Mana Rock. Expensive Mana Rock, though. If this were 2 to cast, it'd probably be pretty good. But I don't think it's good. Kick in the door. A 1 mana red sorcery. +1/+1 counter on target creature. Alright, already not bad, I guess. Gains haste until the end of turn. Can't be blocked by walls. Venture into the dungeon. This could be pretty good in an aggro deck if you're doing the dungeon thing. Not bad. Chaos Channeler. Whenever Chaos Channeler attacks, roll d20. Oh, it's a 4 mana 4/3. Human Shaman. Whenever. Yeah, okay. Wait. Whenever it attacks, roll d20. Yeah. Exile, you can play. Or Exile top 2, you can play. Or on a natural 20. Exile top 3, you can play. Till the end of turn. Alright. I'm kind of losing my gusto, and I guess it's due time because we are at the end of page 1. There's more pages? Have they spoiled everything? Jeez, there's a lot of cards here. Alright. Not great. Earth Cult Elemental, 6 mana, 6/6. ETB, roll d20. Each player sacks on 1 through 9, 10 through 19. Each opponent sacks 20. Each opponent sacks 2. I don't know. I guess it's okay for common, but not great. Got more pages? Yeah, there's more pages. Alright, this is getting too long for me to continue these pages, though. I just want to see how many we got. Hold on. But it looks like there's quite a bit more. Let me know if you want to see the rest of these pages. Jeez, it looks like page 3 is pretty short, but page 2 is another one that's just as long as the one I just did. So, maybe I'll do page 2 tomorrow. Yeah, let's go for like 4 likes. If this gets 4 likes, I'll do the next page tomorrow. Alright, that's it for these spoilers and sort of review initially. Let me know what you guys think of the set. Matt out. Peace, guys.